Welcome back, Venus Warriors. Thank you so much for being here on our Friday episodes, which you know that I interview unbelieving, amazing women that probably went through something that you did so that you can see that, yes, other people are doing what they wanted to do in their lives, even after some hardships, some nonsense, and some bullshit that got in their way. So I do this so that you can see and hear that, yes, there are other women just like you doing it, and they are here to show you and to tell you their story. So today I have the unbelievable Veronica. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Her name is has a little accent on it, and I totally blew it, so that's okay. So I actually met this woman through this group that we're in. So it's about entrepreneurs that are advancing their businesses, and like-minded women, I think, come together. And she was gracious enough to have me on her podcast to speak about my journey and my book. So I want to have her on my podcast because I've actually listened to some of her episodes, and they are actually very, very good because she gives you this whole meditation part, which I totally don't do on my show because I'm not good at that. And that's why we have people like Veronica to do that for you. So Veronica, can you please tell our listeners what it is that you do currently in your business?
Sure, I would love to. So my official description is that I am a wellness mindset coach. I am also a certified Kundalini yoga teacher and meditation instructor. And one of the newest things that I've been trained in that I'm absolutely adoring is Access Consciousness and Access Bars. And so I do private sessions and group sessions to help people everywhere access more consciousness and choices. So we do it in person, we do it online or Skype or Zoom or via phone. And I really have so much fun doing everything that I do.
Okay, so I understand the Kundalini yoga.
Okay.
Very good friend of mine is also a master teacher in that, and it's and it's crazy when you speak about yoga to certain people, not everyone, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't understand what the entire mind-body connection of yoga is.
Mm-hmm.
But I have absolutely no idea what the last thing you just said.
Okay. Sure.
So maybe you could explain it a little bit.
Sure, I would love to. And so Access Consciousness is the big umbrella that hosts different energetic processes and classes and all kinds of things to really empower individuals all over the world. There are now like over 350,000 people all over the world that are part of Access Consciousness to really become awake and aware and realize that they have the power of choice and they can always choose who they want to be, what they want to do, and how to live their best life at all times. And so Access Bars is really the first level class that you can take through Access Consciousness, and there are facilitators all over the world. I am one of them. And Access Bars is an energetic process where you basically lay down on a massage table, fully clothed, and the practitioner touches 32 different points on your head. And when they're gently touched, they begin to release limiting point of views, limitations, obsolete beliefs, and things that are kind of blocking you in your life, maybe consciously or subconsciously. So you might be aware that you have those blocks in your life, or you might not be. And so during the process, most people fall asleep. When they wake up, they're like, oh my God, what did you just do? That felt amazing. And it begins to unlock all these limitations so that new doors of possibility begin to open up for them. And it is just like super simple and gentle, and yet the results are out of this world, really. Like I've been doing like energy healing techniques since like the late 90s. This is probably like my 7th type of training that I've done. And I'm telling you, this is like totally rocking my world.
Okay, so when you go to Boston, I want to do that.
Yay! I would love that.
That sounds
Totally.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's awesome. Yes, I do. I want to do that. I know that you'll be there for vacation, but maybe we'll see.
I would love to. If we can connect, I would so totally love it. So if you want to receive access bars, you have to do that in person, because part of the process is teaching the body, like as you're being gently, touched in your head, you're teaching your body how to receive, because so many of us don't really know how to receive, right? We've been conditioned so many times that, we can give, but receiving is not good. So that's one of the things that you also, get from access bars. But when I do, I shouldn't say but, it's more like and, when I do sessions online, what I'm utilizing is also a clearing statement that we have in Access Consciousness. And if you listen to my podcast, Live Your Happy Now, you know that I use it in a lot of episodes. So it's basically like a magic wand that when you use it, it also unlocks limitations, and it allows you to access a brand new state of being that you might not have been aware that you had it before. Yes.
And so that's what I was speaking about, because the last episode I listened to, you did that. And I was like, wait, what was that magic right there? That's when I reached out to you. I was like, okay, that was awesome. So, oh, that's incredible. But okay. But you didn't wake up one day and when you were a little girl and said, this is what I'm going to do. Right. Or did you?
Not when I was a little girl. No.
So what happened to have you go down your first road? Because you said at the beginning, you said you're a wellness and mindset coach as well.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So how did this journey start for you?
Yeah. So, since we just finished your interview on my show, I think, we have so many things in common, because you were mentioning that, you're a daughter of immigrants, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm an immigrant myself. I moved to this country when I went to the US, because I'm sure you have listeners all over the world. I moved to the US when I was 16 from Argentina. But even before I moved to this country, I always felt like I was just so weird and different. And I never really fit into all those boxes that were being displayed in front of me. And no matter how hard I tried, I always felt like, this is just not me. I can't do that. I can't squeeze myself into one of those boxes, right? Mm-hmm. So I always felt weird and different. And I was always seeking for, it's like I always had this feeling that there was so much more to life. There was so much more that hadn't yet been perceived or explored, And so in the late 90s, I was specifically at a time in my life here in the US where I felt totally lost. I had lost a sense of direction. I didn't really know who the heck I was or what I wanted to do with my life. And at the time I had one of my cousins visiting, and she did a Reiki session for me. Are you familiar with Reiki?
Yes.
Yeah. So she did Reiki on me, and I freaking loved it. It was not only I loved the way my body was feeling, but my mind felt so much more at ease. And I was like, I don't know, I feel like I need to learn this. I feel like I just need to know how to do this. I felt like it was going to give me a sense of direction in life. And so I did. 2 weeks later, I found someone in New York City that was teaching Reiki. And instead of just doing the first level, I dove right in and I did all 4 levels at once. I was like, I'm going for this.
Okay. We sound way too much alike. Okay. Of course you did. Okay.
Yes. So I went all the way, even though I never really thought that would be something that I would ever use in my life, other than for myself. I never thought I'd be doing it for people or teaching people how to do it, because at the time I was doing sales and marketing for a pharmaceutical company. So, so fast forward to getting married and having kids and continuously exploring, consciousness, energy healing, spirituality. Once I started having kids, I didn't see myself going back to sales and marketing. I wanted to be home to be, here for my children. And at the same time, I felt that I had other gifts that I needed to share with the world, and I had no idea what they were or how I was going to share them. So I just continued to, literally see what breadcrumbs were showing up in my trail. And I continued to do different trainings. And I started, by helping people. I would just say, hey, come on over. I could do this session on you. Come on over. I could do Reiki. I could do integrated energy healing. We can work with angels. all these other things, that I was just doing kind of like on the sidelines because my priority was taking care of my kids when they were little. Right now they're teenagers, so I have way more time to really give to my business that I started about 8 or 9 years ago, officially, I should say. And but I'm also here for my kids because they still need me. Even though they won't admit it, I know that if nothing else, is to drive them around until they get their license.
Yeah, right. Oh, but
Yes.
they need you. Trust me.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
Wow. So that's amazing because of the experience that you had, right? It helped you clear it.
Mm-hmm.
And then and it just opened up things for you. I love what you said is that you knew, because I felt this as well, is that, when you had your children, you couldn't see yourself going back, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you still had something you wanted to share, right?
Yeah.
So was that the same feeling as like when you were younger and saying that you just didn't fit in? Like you always had this sense of like there was more out there?
Yeah, it yes and no, because this time, like, I definitely knew that one of my purposes in life was definitely to be a mom, because I felt so like all of motherhood has come with tons of ease for me. And it doesn't mean that it was easy, okay? Let me make sure that people understand the difference between ease and easy. I mean, it was not easy. It's still not easy, okay? But if I had to choose it again, I would still choose it again, because I love being a mom, even with the hardships and the challenges and the craziness that we've been through in this journey. Mm-hmm. What I'm saying is, like, there was a lot of ease because it was almost like second nature. It was what really allowed me to tune in so much more to my intuitive sense, to just know what I knew without having to doubt myself, and without having to like let other people outside of me sort of like determine what was right for myself or my kids or my family. It was pretty much up until that point, like I had never experienced something like that, where I trusted myself and the choices I was making so much. Like I just knew what I knew and I went for it. Like I wasn't second guessing myself. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you weren't hesitant for everything.
Exactly.
Yeah. So then here's, and this question, I try not to ask too often, but I think that you're such a beautiful person, as in like everything that you're doing, and like I can just feel it. How was it with the support from your spouse when you wanted to, you were in a corporate job, right? And then you're having these beautiful kids, but you also have this spiritual experience, right? That you're learned all these things and you've gotten all of these ranks, etc. How was that transition of, I really want to go with my gut and my purpose? How did that go?
I have to say that he has been amazing. He, I have taken him through the ringer with all the shit I've studied and I learned. Like, I just don't know how much more I could possibly surprise him, because he supported me not only, financially when I wasn't able to like generate the money, for our family, but also, like, this is like just so crazy because, he's been my little like guinea pig, when I would learn the different trainings and modalities, it's like I needed people to practice with. So I'm like, okay, lay down, I'm going to try this on you. Right. And then when I did my training in Kundalini yoga, there's this one requirement that you have to go to a 1 day of yoga. It's called a white tantric yoga, and it's a full day. It's the only time that everyone that attends has to wear white. Like you have to wear white and you have to have your head covered. And they say ideally you want to pair up with someone of the opposite sex, but it's a very intimate experience because you're literally sitting across from each other. You're doing meditation after meditation after meditation, and you're really opening up and you're becoming really close to the person. So I was like, listen, I have to fulfill this requirement so I can graduate, and I can get my diploma. And I would much rather do it with you than like a strange person person, you know, that I'm going to be working with for 8 hours. But if you don't want to do it, you don't have to, you know. I think I kind of set him up there, you know. So he's like, fine, I'm going to do it. So here he goes, you know, we did in New York City. So he showed up, you know, we were there together. He's like wearing all white. He's never worn all white. He has his head covered, you know, like a bandana that's all white. And we're literally sitting across from each other for 8 hours doing meditation. Like, you know, I love meditation. I love yoga. My husband is very flexible. He does yoga, but he's not a meditation kind of guy. And here he was for 8 hours doing meditation with me just so that I can fulfill this requirement. So he was actually amazing, you know, in every way. Although I have to say that in the beginning, like when I was exploring spirituality before I quit, you know, my sales and marketing job, one of those big wishes I had in my heart was that he would like get into it at some point, you know, that I could share that side of me with him. And in the beginning, he was resistant to like exploring it himself. And so I finally just gave up. I was like, you know what? There's so many other things I love about him. I'll just find a group of friends that I can share this with. I don't have to share this with him. And the minute I gave up like the expectation that he needed to change in order to fulfill what I thought I needed from him, it was like magic. He literally, within a week, it was like, okay, show me what you got. I'm kind of interested. You know, it's just so crazy.
Yeah, I totally hear you on that one. Same with my husband. Like, I remember I would have things at the house and he wouldn't even participate. He would be in the office or he'd be upstairs, but always supportive. But it's funny, they have to meet because he's the same way. He's been my guinea pig for a long time. Even when I told him about my book, he's like, oh my God, do I have to read and edit your book? I was like, no, I hired somebody for that. You're okay.
That's so funny.
That's awesome. Because it means a lot though, right? When you have someone that, even though you want to do, you know, have some crazy quote unquote ideas, right? And you want to go and do it. And there's someone that's like, yep, okay, let's do it. Or you do it. And right. It means a lot. It means a lot.
It does, you know, because I think he's the one that initially gave me sort of like the space that allowed me to be me and to be able to explore everything that I wanted to explore. And I think he definitely made it easier for me to say yes to myself. Does that make sense?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Because even though it doesn't matter, you know, we're always evolving, right? And we're always growing. And even though we seem as completely strong, assertive, and decisive women, there's always going to be something, right, that there may be just a little glimmer of hesitation, right? There just might be. And having that support is massive.
Totally.
So what do your kids think about what you do?
My kids, they roll their eyes and they're like, listen, you could do your shit, you know, just don't do it in front of my friends.
Nice. Don't
play your crazy, you know, mantra music and all this other stuff you do. Like, they don't care if I do it in front of them, just don't do it in front of my friends. So again, like they, you know, it's like I've been doing this stuff ever since they've been born. So, you know, us talking about angels is like second nature, you know, it's like what we do. Or, you know, yoga or, you know, anything, you know, the stuff that I say with a clear statement, you know, in Access Consciousness right now, it's like a long statement and they hear me say it out loud like 20 times and they're like, Panapaga, like they just repeat it in their heads. It's like, nothing surprises them, right? Nothing surprises them.
That's good. That's good. And it's awesome that they're exposed to it because it makes a difference in even with my kids who are much younger, they're under 8, but you know, their teachers would be like, you know what your son said today? I was like, I can only imagine. And they're like, well, there was a child in the classroom that kept saying, I can't. And automatic, because it's automatic for him, he would just turn and be like, don't say I can't. You can, you know, and but right. And these are just things, I mean, even as children and that's something that I'm also very passionate about is kids, right? Where I have to look up at what philosopher said this, but he said, give me a child until 8 and I will rule his mind.
Wow.
Right. And it's like, whoa, like how many things do we have to, well, if we want to, not have to, if we want to as adults, right, to undo all of any type of things that are not serving us from way back. Right.
Yeah.
and so with kids, oh, like even my friends' kids, like, they're like, well, Miss Liz says, like anything to help them so they don't have to unravel it on their own. So explain, because you do a lot of things. So with someone listening to this right now and they're like, oh wow, I really like to work with her. What are some type of the things that you have that you offer right now? Let's say virtually.
Mm-hmm.
What do you have out there?
I have a lot of stuff. So I sort of have to think about it. I'm like, okay, what are the things I do virtually? So we could do group sessions. We could do one-on-one sessions. Like, let's say one of your listeners is finding that they're having a difficult time generating more money through their business. We can work together and either do one session or a series of like 3 or 6 sessions, online through Zoom or Skype. And we can sort of dive into what might be getting in the way of doing that and how you can make different choices in your business and in your life that would allow you to generate more money, Mm-hmm. Or let's say, I don't know, you just feel that you just want to have a deeper relationship, with either your children or your husband or someone that's meaningful for you in your life. I can help you do that as well. Or just, maybe like you just want to spark more creativity and find different ways of creating, for yourself and your business. We can totally play with that. I love playing with the confidence and creativity and just, what are different ways that you can look at yourself and your life so that you can begin to generate and create things, not necessarily the same way that everyone is doing it, but from a brand new reality that you can create yourself.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. That's awesome, because I think, well, it depends. A lot of times, like you and I who are in this world of understanding and learning and doing like our business as what we want to do, right? And serve the world and serve people. So we see a lot of stuff out there where some of it is just not, I say not right, as in not serving people, but others who are looking for some help just don't know. Right. So I'm very happy that there's people like you that are out there that are helping in whatever way serves the person. Right.
Totally. Absolutely. I also have, a 6-week mentorship program that's starting in September. It's called Miracle Mindset Mentorship, where we basically have a group online and we get together once a week and we are working, through limitations and beliefs to explore what else is possible and how does your life and your business get better than what it currently is right now. And then I also have a meditation and yoga retreat that's happening. That one happens in person because, you really have to kind of get the juicy part of it. And that's taking place in Florida and we're doing it in October.
Really? Mm-hmm. Oh, now that sounds interesting. Okay. So where can we learn more about this stuff?
You can go to my website. It's veronicaparker44.com. And you can find all the juicy details for everything that I have available. And I love creating. So this is just like what I already have in the works. But every week it's like, oh, why don't we do this? I also do like a week clearing online and 2 weeks, where we're doing clearings and we're doing energy pools and ways in which you can create and generate what your heart really desires in your life and your business.
Oh, that's awesome. And now, okay, so when you say that, is that through your podcast? And say the name. I'll have all this in the show notes, but what is the name of your podcast again?
The name of the podcast is Live Your Happy Now. And you can find it on iTunes and Stitcher and anywhere where podcasts exist.
Perfect. And so when you have these ideas of things that are happening, where do we find that? On your website as well?
You can find it on my website, and then also Veronica Parker 44 on Facebook as well. I post things there as well.
Perfect. Okay, good. Because that's what I was going to ask for, because I'm going to go there. Okay.
Yes, you'll find the info there too.
Awesome.
Yes, Veronica Parker.
Okay. And I'll have, so everyone listening, as you know, I will have all of this in the show notes. So we can just click on it and everything will be the right spelling. So we have no issues. Thank you so much. Is there anything you feel that you wanted to express that I just dropped the bomb and didn't ask you.
No, I think you were amazing. I loved our synergetic connection that we had and discovering so many things we had in common. It was such a pleasure to be part of your show. And I would just like to, tell your listeners that, don't believe anything that anyone tells you. Check things out, try things out for yourself, trust yourself, and absolutely know that the magic and the miracles resides within you, and you already possess everything you require to just be so happy and to thrive in your life.
Agreed. I love that. Perfect. Absolutely.
Awesome.
Veronica, thank you so much for being here. I'm truly grateful that you took the time to not only interview me, but also to take your time to share with our listeners the truth and the unbelievableness of yourself.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Liz. It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely. And thank you everyone for listening. I know that it takes time out of your day, but maybe you're just listening in the car and then you can do two things at once. Thanks again, Venus Warriors, and we will see you soon. Bye.